Incoming transmission.
Hello friends and folks, 5Aces here, and today we're gonna switch it up a bit. I'm going to try and provide you with some educational commentary this time around, and seeing as the Red Alert Global League has started recently, I thought this was a really good opportunity to just give you some insight into the trail of thoughts for higher level play. So what does this actually mean? The Red Alert Global League is basically a weekly league. It's on a weekly basis. You have it's organized in 3 different tiers. There is Master, Minion, and Recruit. So I got placed in the Masters division. And so I have 11 opponents and I'm going to play one of them each week. It's basically like soccer. My first round opponent, Anju, went the same route. So he's also random. In the first match, we're gonna start it now. We both got the Ukraine draw. Ukraine versus Ukraine mirror match, you know, parabombs, demo trucks. Always nice to see. And so I'm starting out with the barracks and just trying to get quick oil derrick control, while Anju is actually going for a dog and trying to intercept my engineer. It's got fairly close, but I always go for a rear rifle. Yep, or 2 even, because I saw the dog incoming, to intercept. Now, I always make it a point to capture the pillbox first. And the reason why I'm doing this is, for all I know, Angie could have produced like 10 rifle infantry and could have pushed them in there. He would have overwhelmed me and killed the engineer, which would have been a big deal. So, by the way, I know, I'm very well aware that I stole this idea for those video series from Kirillo, but unfortunately Kirillo has forfeited the league. He was at a really... He was going to be like in 3rd spot, but then he forfeited all his points, unfortunately, because my direct opponent, Ray, lost to Kirillo, and now this got transmuted into a victory for Murta, unfortunately. So yeah, what I'm doing here, both are rushing out an APC, and I'm going for an early engine, like I'm transporting my initial engineer and just resetting the production, which I succeeded at. He would have produced an ore truck, but now he's on 1 ore truck and he's rushed a radar dome, which I've scouted. So I know I can go for an expansion. I'm trying to block here, but he's got rocket soldiers, so not a big deal. I have to retreat. So his eco is quite behind, I'd say. And also he's just capturing the oil derrick now. In longer games, this is essential. Yeah, this is gonna be a different style of cast because I already know what happens. So I'm just going to give you a rundown on my trail of thought, my idea of how the game is playing out, the importance of scouting, stuff like that. So I've got 5 ore trucks to now 4. Plus, I had the oil derrick earlier, so I'm rushing out a service depot. And my first really offensive move is going to be 5 rocket soldiers packed up into an APC. And I'm trying to snipe an ore truck here. Plus, I'm going mass barracks in this game because I know how Angie plays. So I'm trying to actually get the ore truck, but I scout the massive infantry blob. So I ditch the last rocket soldier and just hightail out of there, retaining the APC. In the meantime, on the back of this, I'm producing mass rifle infantry and mixed with a couple rocket soldiers, simply because I know how Anju plays. He's a Tabiran Dawn player, so that means he's going for a lot of blobbing. I already got my MCV out. He doesn't even have a service depot yet, so I know I'm ahead in the eco race, and if I can hold my expansions, this is going to be really good for me. He's scouting. Me too, by the way. I have sent my initial 3 riflemen to the most common expansion spots, here, and here, oh, even 4. The 4th one is up there. So I know every single map movement that Anju is going to make with a potential MCV. He has rushed out Yaks, which is unconventional for him since he's usually not a tech player. And I'm going for 5 flamers here. The reason for this you'll see very shortly. My first expansion is up. Flame Tower, Oil Refinery, Construction Yard. I know he scouted it, so I know he's going to try and kill it off. The A move is coming. That's why I'm moving my entire army up. Except for those 2 APCs. One of them is, this one is actually loaded with rocket soldiers. This one is loaded up with flamers. The reason for that you'll see very shortly, because I like I like multitasking. Barely retaining my APC there, but the other one is still alive and kicking. So his first Yak just gets taken out, even though I don't have many rocket soldiers in the group. Almost crashes in there. So I know that his army is like somewhere around here. Let me see, let's see. Yeah, I know that it's somewhere there in the dark. I don't know what angle it's coming from, but there's gonna be an engagement shortly. So while this engagement is happening, I'm trying to pull back micro to the best of my skill, and also pull the MCV back. On the other side of the map, I'm simultaneously running my APC in. That one is full of flamers, mind you. Here comes the second, repaired up again, and it's got five rocket soldiers. So I'm losing on this front, but I'm not losing too hard. I'm stalling out. And at the same time, I can now go for a rampage through his eco. So the first APC is going to kill off all the rocket soldiers, and the second got the ore refinery and barely does not get the radar from what I remember. It's like, so close. So close. I've lost this engagement here, but it doesn't really matter because I can just produce from the barracks. His V2s were actually a good call. I'm trying to get some crushes in to thin the army out. So here I've killed 1, 2, 3, 4 ore trucks, and here I've killed the refinery. A deadly blow to his eco, and still retaining some of the rocket soldiers and the APC for the time being. He's running into the flamers because he hasn't scouted yet. Now I'm trying to get some good crushes in again. I have to say his V2s were really effective. So a smart call by him. But he's just been set behind so hard. And this is his original MCV here. He had to move out because he knew he had to move on to some more ore, because he was running out in the main base. So was I, but I have sniped so many buildings of his that I know I'm ahead. His mobile armor is actually a bit bigger than mine, but that's nothing you can't fix with a lot of rifle infantry there. Now I'm going for high-tech, advanced power plants, more eco, and I still know that he hasn't taken the other expansions, so I'm feeling completely safe just standing here and letting him engage into me. My Yak is there, and it can see everything. The blanket fire from the V2s is really good. I tried to get the V2s with the Yak, but unfortunately failed. Second Yak also wasted. That was pretty horrible. So what I'm doing here, I'm also pointing out the mistakes I'm making, and also the mistakes that my opponents are making. So here they just got way too many rocket soldiers for the rifle blob. Until the V2 recharges, he's gonna... yeah. He's still got a Yak up. He has been way better at the Yak control than I was. Here, he has sold off a couple buildings. It was a refinery and barracks, I think. I know that I'm super far ahead now, so I can actually move out my MCV. The APC here is still trying to get some value out of that. I know I can pull back in time, but for some reason, miss micro. I think my finger slipped or something. So a big deal here is that Yak, because it scouts my second MCV moving out. And at the time being, I don't have a large army. And I'm not having much in the bank either. But look at how much I have earned per minute. That's quite the difference there. He has tried for a paradrop, but I had a flame tower ready. So for some reason, he's trying to pull me in with the parabombs. He's trying to intercept my army by getting the parabombs. He should have gone for the expansion here. He could have killed it off, I think. So here with the Badgers, he's trying to actually snipe my army. However, never use them in the middle of the map, because that's a mistake, because the travel time is really long, independent of which side you're coming from. So a small incursion there. I'm focusing with my Yak. Also shooting down his Yak, killing the last V2. And now I see that he has transitioned over to a heavy tank build. And a heavy tank build gets countered fairly easily. because they're really slow and immobile. APCs are way scarier. So I've got a couple harvesters out of a job. I think I'm gonna transfer them over shortly. And this is where I'm taking the 5th or the 4th expansion, which rightfully would belong to Anju. He is still on 1 Conyard because he has to produce the army to keep me at bay. So all I need here are more rocket soldiers to actually kill off the heavy tanks. That's all. He hasn't mined from his main base, mind you. He hasn't mined from there for a very long time. So much so that the ore is starting to regrow. I just dumped 2 refineries and a flamer there, knowing that he can't really harm me in this position because my Yak sees everything. And I think I've just taken out his last Yak, yes. He's trying to, for a desperation move again, he's trying to get a grasp of this ore field, which would be his natural, usually. But I have already established my base here. So now I'm just going for mass airfields. I know I've basically got this game on lockdown. Mass airfields it is. Trying to camp here, trying to spawn camp the barracks a bit. He's got a lot of rifle infantry, so he's transitioning over to a really TD style build. Because riflemen and heavy tanks, that's basically the classic, it's the classic Tiberian Dawn composition. And I've spotted his Conyard. So what that means, I'm going to rally point every single Yak over there. Trying to chew it down with the chain guns. He's moving his army, but it's so immobile. Just look at how... look at this, it's painful. And it's only riflemen, so I can get some really good crushes in. The APC, just to keep tabs on the army. Now he has lost all sorts of anti-air. He's lacking any... well, he's lacking anti-air at all. He doesn't have anything. He's got like 6 heavy tanks and a lot of rifle infantry. And doesn't even have a Conyard. He can produce one, but it's gonna take a while and it's gonna cost him valuable resources. While I just rearm my Yaks, and also, while I see he's moving out his main army, I'm trying to chew through the through his barracks to keep down the infantry production. More and more flame towers here just to prevent him from going all in. Because he basically has 1 shot. So here comes the main brunt of the infantry force, and I'm focus firing the Tesla coil, not even bothering with anything else. Focus firing the radar dome, and then focus firing the war factory because it's his last. And after that, I have scouted. Oh, and yeah, and at the same time, I see that he's busy microing his defense, so I just go for a paradrop on his entire army, which just wrecks everything, causing him to call it GG. Yep. So, some of the important points: always retain map control, or you always wanna be on the aggressive, and you always wanna scout what your opponent is doing. You wanna know what he's up to. Yeah, that's it for the first part, and with a magical cut, we're going over to the second part, which is going to be my home match. Alright, and this is the second match. I chose Warlord for my home match. I know how to play this map usually. And it's basically a really expansion reliant. You can't... getting away with teching is hard. You have to really make the units you get out of a tech count. So what I'm doing here, preparing a defense, because on this map you're really prone to infantry rushes from all sides and angles, because it's so open. It's basically SoScared's dream map. And snake walking the power plants up to the expansion, you always want to make sure that your refinery is not off center. You want to have it like at best 2 cells away from the ore. That's one of the biggest rookie mistakes I see. Also, you want multiple ore trucks. You don't want just 1 ore truck or 2 refineries or shit like that. No. You actually want to get like 5 at least. So he's scouting me. I don't really mind. First thing I'm producing here is an APC. And APCs are just a really solid opener. It leaves you like, you have this weird phase of like 1 minute and 30 where you're not gonna be able to produce much because you're on 1 harvester. until I get just second refinery and the third ore truck up. But other than that, it's okay. I see he's produced 2 rocket soldiers again. Should actually have gone for a load-in with those riflemen. Would have been one of the best call to just unload and kill his rocket soldiers with riflemen. Oh well, so I'm getting a really good scout off. I know all the position, and he's playing super standard. This is the standard opener, except for the radar dome is again going for tech. Meanwhile, I'm going for service depot because I want the early MCV, but I'm also preparing something special after this ore truck, I believe. Again, just scouting, just poking, being annoying, forcing him to move his army out of position. And he's rushing helicopters. Really early AA gun. I would not do that. It's a minute 2. Like, don't go for an AA gun at minute 2. So okay, I was on 6 harvesters, sorry. Double tech, and now I'm going for a hijacker in my original starting APC. And I'm trying to sneak in and get the ore truck, but he's paying attention. It's bugging out. So I'm trying to get it, and eventually it gets crushed. Because, well, hijackers are buggy. So instead I'm just moving my start my second MCV up, trying to set an expansion up. And here comes my mine layer. Now he does not at all have this on the radar. He has gone for artilleries, he's gone for early hind aggression, which can be really potent. First mine hits a truck. Look at how much map control he has. He knows that I haven't moved out. He hasn't scouted my expansion yet, but he might in the near future. He sees my mine layer, but he doesn't deem it a big deal. And now I'm getting my yak up, and I'm like, oh shit, there is a push. Trying to bring the hijackers into the safe zone, moving away the yak. And here come the artilleries, and I had not expected the artilleries, so they're just smashing my infantry forces there. I know I have to engage. Fortunately, I have a yak. Unfortunately, the turn radius screws me over royally there. Finally getting them down. And I've got a couple more flak trucks. Briefly getting into low power. What I'm doing here, I'm focusing the hinds. You always want to make sure to focus the hinds. Trying to chase after the other one. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have landed there at all. Don't know what I was thinking there. My mine layer is back at it, and he has gotten 2 harvesters really low at this point. 2 mines kill every single vehicle in the game, by the way. I'm pulling back my mobile flak in time because I want to retain this. So he's going for triple light tanks here, but I have rocket soldiers to back it up. My airfield is getting really low. Oh, and first ore truck just goes down. And my rocket soldiers on the other side of the map just deflect the push. Shouldn't run with the rocket soldiers into the rifleman, but I'm cautious there. So he has 3 hinds up, but this is starting to get really dangerous for me. Also, my mine layer has killed off 2 harvesters already, and I'm mining his path to get the 3rd one. I have a lot of eco there. My flak trucks are going to trade... Like 2 flak trucks for a hind is still a net gain, but it's like minimal. 2 flak trucks are 1200 and a hind is 1350. So the gain was really marginal there. Nothing substantial. Plus he has blocked my ore refinery, so my income is a bit stifled. I'm trying to go for a suicide with a yak, but not the best. So he's transitioning over to light tanks. Just to, I guess, to counter my flak tracks and also be really annoying in my backlines and trying to get all the ore refineries blocked. I see the light tanks move out, so I'm trying to intercept, but I don't have any rocket soldiers at the time being, because I went for infantry defense. So I know that this is gonna be a bit nasty. Don't have any rocket soldiers at the time being. He blocks every single one of my bottom refineries. Fortunately, the top refinery is still mining. Really annoying, and this was in the old release where you couldn't actually target the husks on the ref pads. or any pads for that matter. And at the same time, he's coupling it, following it up with a nice push here. Again with the artillery, which I totally hadn't expected. So I know I have to engage into the artillery somehow. I have to find an angle. What you want to do is, find a different angle. So I'm trying to run around with my flak trucks and intercept either the hinds or the artillery. Also have the yak for the vision, so I can snipe a hind there. Snipe a second hind, really worth it for me. 2 hinds for 2 flak trucks. And now I've got everything set up pretty much, because I know that he can't really have the line of sight anymore. He can't retain his air control. I have the flak trucks up. Also, a storm is brewing there. And seeing as I've effectively mined off this part of the map, I just decide to mine off the middle as well. Mine layers can be so cost effective, as you can see. Going for a tech center here because I know I'm ahead. If we look at the assets, it's already looking pretty bleak for Anju. 50k to 25k. Plus he lost another harvester. So the bottom side is completely denied. And he doesn't know how many mines there are. If you want to counter a mine layer, get a mine layer of your own. They have mine detection radius. And again, just like in game 1, he is forced to move out his original MCV. Finally a lucky artillery shot gets my mine layer down. Now he has to blindly force fire because he doesn't know where my mines are. And he hasn't built the mine layer himself. I get a hind, and now I know it's time to engage. I'm going downtown here. I know I can take his Conyard down. He doesn't have the eco to even get up a base defense in time. He's, again, like in game 1, is trying for a desperation move. I have 4 yaks there. No chance in hell his MCV would survive. Now, that was a bit of a mistake. My yak still had a lot of ammo, but I decided to not to use them for the artillery and instead decided to just scout. Could have gone easier. Yeah, so he gets a lot of good blanket fire off, and I still fail to engage because this area, I haven't expected this, but it's so choky, so it blocks the pathing a lot. So he loses every single unit there. And he sells out because he knows he's lost. This is a last all-in call to arms here. But I've got exactly the right finisher prepared. Moving out with my MCV just for shits and giggles. At this point, I don't know that he's going all in. But hey, some nice mines blowing up right in their face. But I see so many civilians I know that must stem from a cell. An absolute mass cell, so I just go for the parabombs, knowing that this game is pretty much over. So the badges arrive, not in time anymore, hey. But hey, nice finishing move, right? And Anju surrenders. So that's it for part 1. I hope you've learned something about build orders, about map control, about micro and macro. This is a macro map, for example. You have so many different expansions to actually use. Like in this map, the mistake I see many rookies make is not going for expansions, just sitting on one base, being content to just turtle up. That doesn't work when your opponent has like 3/4 of the map and he's like 5 expansions and he's just going to overwhelm you. It doesn't matter how well you play the defensive game. So yeah, that's it for episode 1. This is going to be a weekly format that I'm going to cast. I'm going to cast them in a bulk now, but I'm going to release them once every week. So just to keep in rhythm with the actual league matches. And anything else? Yeah, I'm probably gonna post the tables and standings after each match, just so you know what happened in the league. Other than that, so we're gonna have a surge of content over the next time. For the next 11 weeks, there's going to be 2 videos at least, 1 regular cast on Sunday and one of these videos on, let's say, every Thursday. That's realistic. Alright, thank you for watching, and my name is Valvasis, and I'll see you in the next video.